So we have this homework assignment 6.3 WSP. There's already a video uploaded from last year that shows most of the work. I want to focus in on 15. Let's do 15 together right here. So if I wanted to cancel out either m's or n's, which one would be easier? Canceling out n's would be easier. All you have to do is multiply the bottom equation by a -1. So the top equation you'd leave the same, 6m minus 8n equals 3. The bottom equation will change to a -2m, a positive 8n equals positive 3. Hopefully everybody's keeping up with me here. So you're now able to combine the lines, and the 8n and the -8n will eliminate, which means that you'll have a 4m left over. 6 take away 2 is 4, equals 3 plus 3 is 6. Now, we do have 4 times m right there, which means we'd have to divide by 4 and divide by 4, which means m equals a fraction. So you reduce it to 3/2. That's right. So this is ugly, but that's why I wanted to make a video here and explain this one. Let's plug in the 3/2 to find the other value n. So let's plug it into either the top one or the bottom one. Which one do you think is easier? Definitely, guys. If you plug it into the bottom one, when you multiply 2 times the fraction 3/2, the denominator will eliminate with the 2. Let me show you. On the bottom equation, we're going to have 2 times m, but the m is really 3/2. Minus 8n equals -3. So the 2 and the 2 eliminate. Anytime you multiply a fraction but with its denominator, the fraction disappears. What do we have left? We have a 3. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. This is it's now a positive 3 with a minus 8n equaling -3. So let's continue to solve by getting rid of the 3, and I'll end up with -8n equaling -6. So for my final step here, I'm going to divide by -8, divide by -8, which means n equals, negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 6/8, you could reduce that by 2, and you'll get 3/4. Correct? If you reduce by 2, you'll get 3/4 positive, because a negative divided by negative is a positive. So ladies and gentlemen, the answer to number 15 is, you write your, you see, when you say an ordered pair, you're talking about a pair of numbers that's in order, alphabetical order, right? X comes before Y. In this case, m, the 3/2 comes before n. So there's your answer for number 15, 3/2, comma 3/4. Let's jump to number 17. I want to explain that one because a lot of people get confused with fractions. Once again, fractions, you could get rid of fractions if you multiply everything by the denominator. So you could modify the equations to make them look without fractions. So you could technically multiply everything by 3. So the top equation, if you multiply everything by 3, you're going to... Oh, is that? You could eliminate first, but I'm just saying a lot of people don't like dealing with fractions, right? So if you did multiply everything by 3, you're going to end up with a -1x, a -4. Oh, wait a minute. There's a typo here. This should be a y. By the way, guys, put a y right there. Sorry. It's a typo. A -4y, and equaling -6, because 3 times -2 is -6. So that's your new top equation, multiplying everything by 3. On the bottom equation, if you multiply everything by 3, that'll give you a positive 1x, because that eliminates the 3's. And then right here, you'd end up with a -2y. And last but not least, a 12. So now we're able to combine the lines, the -1x and the positive 1x. Those really do eliminate. -4 and a -2, that's a -6 with the y. The equal sign comes down. -6 plus 12 is 6. So then you divide by -6, divide by -6, y equals -1. That is one answer. If you need the other answer, all you have to do is plug it in. And if you don't want to deal with the fractions, go ahead and plug it into one of these from the modified equations that you did. Okay? So you can plug it into this bottom equation, the modified equation. That bottom equation is 1x minus 2y, but instead of y, we're putting a -1, equals 12. Again, I just rewrote this equation, but instead of y, I plugged in -1 right in there. So I now have x plus 2 equals 12. Subtract 2, x equals 12 take away 2 is 10. So your answer to number 17 is 10 comma -1. Okay, so I also want to explain a couple of these word problems ones I did ask you to do through 21 odd. So we're not doing 20, we're not doing 22 or 23, but we are looking at 19 and 21. So number 19, obviously we're dealing with systems here. We need to create the system and write equations as we read. It says the sum. What does sum mean? What does sum mean? Add. And what are we adding? It says the sum of two numbers is 41. So they don't tell you what the two numbers are. So we're just going to simply put one number x plus another number y is means equals. The answer is 41. That's what that first sentence says right there. The sum of two numbers is 41. That's or first part of the sentence. The sum of two numbers is 41. X plus y equals 41. Now this other one says, and their difference is 5. So they're also saying that the difference between these two numbers, what does difference mean? Subtract, right? So the difference of x and y, the difference, it says is 5. Okay? Is 5, right? Their difference is 5. So there's your system. You just have to read it carefully and create your system. Okay? So on number 19, when I look at it, it's ready to eliminate. The y's eliminate. X plus x is 2x's equaling 46. And if you divide by 2 on both sides, x will equal 23. And if you have one answer and you need the other, you simply plug it in. So if I were to plug in 23 right over here, you'd end up with 23 plus y equaling 41. And if you subtract 23 on both sides, y will equal, so we end up with 18. So the final answer that you're supposed to write for number 19 is the ordered pair 23, 18.